class. So, good evening everybody. I can see today most of my students. That's very fine. That's very good. Would you like to wait somebody? So I think we should start already because I entered the WebEx late for 30 minutes. So we have today we have the development topic. We have a class. We will talk about the development. So who is ready to start? So if we start right now, don't you mind? What do you think? Is anybody can hear me? Yeah, yes, let's start the class. So today's topic about the development. Let's see what we have. You can see the slides. So just a moment, please. Today my laptop brings lots of problems to me. I don't know what's happened. So let's see what we have. So today's topic and structure of the lesson is introduction to development. We identify the definition of development and training. We will talk about the learning development, about the learning strategies, and we will see the definition about the career development, and also the methods is using in the career development. So let's start the first one. So here is, for training and development to be effective in terms of business success, it should be linked upfront with the business strategy. So you have to remember always that the training and development at your work, at your company, at your organization, always must be linked with the business strategy, which brings the right results to the company. So it's generally believed that for the organization to operate effectively, HRD, which is human resource development, should take place at all three levels in the organization. That there is a corporate planning, line management is the business and divisional, and in the operational level. So development impacts on all of three levels of the organizations, on the planning, on the line management, and the operation level also. So let's see the next slide. So there is increasing evidence to show that the employees and potential employees are more interested in development opportunities than in improvement in financial rewards. Yeah, that's true. Of course, we know that most of employees are interesting in the from the side of financial rewards, interested in the bonuses and salaries that it provides the company. But today's in recent years, that most of employees, young employees, they interested more in the development opportunity which is provided the company. organizations. And development activity can drive motivation and commitment and can be used in a strategic way to contribute towards this. So development always drives the motivations programs and the commitment of the employee to the organizations. Let's see the next slide. So if we want employees to learn new skills, so now we talk from the side of the organization, from the side of the HR department. So, or from the side of, as you have been top manager. So if you want employees to learn new skills and become the multi-skilled, and skill development, we need to reward rather than the jobs that is currently done. So here that means that we need to reward the development itself. And if we wish employees to gain vocational qualification, we need to reflect this in our recruitment criteria and reward systems. So let's see the next one. So the reward systems, the promotions and career moves need to support the development strategy. So development strategy always comes with motivation programs, with the organization reward system, with its promotion and with its career opportunities. Let's see the next one. Here is the definition of the development. The development defined as a growth of the realization of a person's ability toward the continuous and uncontinuous learning. It looks beyond today and today's job. It has a more long-term focus and helps individuals handle future responsibilities and prepare the employees to keep pace with the organization as it changes and grows, and emphasizes continuous learning and growth. So today's development, any organizations or company, they have a development plan for the employees, and it's always as long-term, being for ahead of 5 years and more. So let's see the next slide. Here is given the definition about the training, because the development comes always with the training. So training defined as the planned process to modify attitude, knowledge, and skill behavior through learning experience to achieve the effective performance in an activity or range of activities. So it's designed to permit the learners to acquire the knowledge and skills needed for their present jobs. So it's always important that the trainings must be in the right place and the right time given to the employees with the right skills and knowledge, and helps employees to do their current job, and also is develop their performance and their ability to do more job than they do. For example, handle another functions, additional maybe functions. The stems from the need to adapt the rapid environmental change, improve the quality of products and services, and increase the productivity to remain competitive. So it's also the training and development programs seen as a competitive advantage of the company, because as we see from the side of competitive advantage, the development programs, they are hard to copy, because each organization they design and they introduce their own development programs, which is differ from others one. Of course, they have some structure, which we see the methods and structure of the development programs in later. So let's see the next slide. So here is we talk right now about human resource development. It's a plan and continuous effort by management to improve the employee competency levels and organization performance through the training and development program. That is a simple one. In the practice, HRD may be referred as a training and development, which is we shortly say the T&D, and is actually an investment in the human resources. Those that sees also as a knowledge investment. Here is so. Okay. So let's see the next slide. So let's see the next one. So what kind of purpose of HRD we have? So it's first is to increase the productivity. Always is related to them to increase the organization's profit, organization sales, organization productivity, to prevent the skills at all levels in the company, to develop the organization as a whole, and improve the quality of work, to improve the standards and safety at work, and reduce the waste, accidents, turnover, and absenteeism. These are the main purposes of the development. So I think this is all understandable, and let's see the next slide. Also, here is another additional purpose of the development is to standardize working practice and procedures, to increase the job satisfaction, motivation, and morale, develop the knowledge, skills, and attitude, and to develop the adaptability of workforce, bring people to the level of performance which meets the standard of performance required for the job. This means in develop the adaptability of workforce. That means when the new employees enter the company, and development training programs given them to be very careful, adapt to the company, to the already existing workforce, to the already existing culture, which is being in the company. Upgrade employee skills to qualify them for the promotion. Of course, everybody wants promotion and wants to go by career ladder to the top, and more earnings. This is about, about the salaries, benefits, incentives which the organization provides to employees, and the personal satisfactions. Let's see the next one. So here is involvement of line management. It's very important that a line manager must be involved in the development programs. And in the delivery of the training, the development strategy can have a range of advantages. So top managers have a key role in the introduction and promoting strategic development to staff. For example, creating an organization-wide competency identification program, with setting up the system of development centers, or introducing a development-based organization performance management system. So here is, it's very important, as I told you, the involvement of the line and top manager in the development programs. And they have to integrate very closely with the employees, with the staff, with the operational level in the development and training programs. So I hope that one is. And I would like to add that is only if management carry out this role can employees see and believe that there is a commitment from the top. So that means when top management being involved in the training programs, for example, and from this side, employees can see that that management is curious about them, and that cares and think about the development, about the future opportunities. And other levels, line managers can be trained as trainees, assessors, and advisors in delivering the strategy. And this is mechanism not only for getting them involved, but also for tailoring the strategy to meet the real and different needs for different functions and departments. And in the training and development programs, top managers, or we say the line management side, they're always involved in the training as trainers, and employees as their followers. So let's see the next slide. So here is we have figure 1 shows you the learning cycle, how the learning cycle is going on in the company. This starts from the planning, how to put it into practice. That means how to put the development training programs. We have in the theory a lot of methods and the programs related to development training, and how to put in the right context that theories in the practice, in particular your company, in your particular business. And then goes into activity. As you can see, activity, it means the process already. From the activity, it goes to reflection. How the followers refer to the train and development programs, and then go to theory building. From this side, after the practice, the training and development programs, we build a theory, our own theory. For example, inside our organization, that theory belongs to our organization, to our employees only. And this is seen as a competitive advantage, which cannot be copied, just simple copied and adapt to another company. So this is very important here. We have to see development and training programs as a competitive advantage of the company. And from this combination, the code which is shows this cycle developed a four-stage learning cycle, and that was first developed by the Honey and Mumford. That is just for your attention. What kind of scientists been developed that four-stage cycle? So let's see the next slide. Here is the Honey and Mumford identified individuals' learning styles. So here is look at styles, at the learning styles which we have in the theories is as an activist, as a reflector, as a theorist, and pragmatist. So here is we can see the explanation of each of them. Let's see. So the activists learn best from having a goal and trying something out without necessarily preparing. So they would be enthusiastic about the role play exercise and keen to take the risk in the real environment. I think you know that most of organizations, they use the training program as a role play in the company. So there is the activist which is having a goal. That means they takes enthusiastic and plays a major role in that play. So what about reflectors? Are much better at listening and observing. They are effective at reflecting on their own and other experience and good at analyzing what happened and why. So this, maybe you can find yourself from these learning styles. So theories, the strengths are in building a concept of theory and the base of the analysis. They are good at integrating different pieces of information and building models of the way things operate. They may choose to start their learning by reading around the topic. And we have a pragmatist are keen to use whatever they learn and will always work out how they can apply it in real situations. They will plan how to put it into practice, and they will evaluate information ideas they are given only if they can see how to relate them to practical tasks they need to do. So from this we have four styles, and the pragmatist, most of the people which has effective and efficiently ability to use all the theoretic topics, all the training developments in the situation, in the company, in the practice. So this is for main styles. Maybe you can find yourself from these four kinds of styles. Who are you? You activist, or you are a reflector, just listening and observing them, or you are tourist. This is all the styles given like in the participation of the training and development programs. There is, I have a question from the Mr. Rahman Jawad asking which style is most effective and preferred. This is like the styles is presents your own characteristic, your own skills, your own knowledge and abilities. Like, for example, the activities is seen very less in, for example, in the company. Most of, I think, it's the reflectors. Of course, the pragmatist is most of effective and preferred learners in the programs, the pragmatists. But we also need support from the activists when we have role play exercises. From the reflectors also we have from the theories, from the side of analyzing. This all depends on your own from your own ability to study. If you had any development training programs, you must remind how did you act in that kind of training and development programs. Maybe as an activist, maybe as a pragmatist, or maybe just in the combine of 4 of them. Here I have a question which is more usual in organizations. From my perspective, the reflectors seems as more usual the style, the learners in the company. The reflectors, which is just listening and observing the training and development. Activists seen as very seldom. Theories, this is the people also maybe this is more analyzing people. And the pragmatists, this is not all employees can be pragmatists. So if it's all employees can be pragmatists, that is very good. That means company, they would bring the good results to the company in the form of productivity. So I have a question from Ilya that is says that he can't find any tangible sequence or the lines of differentiation between the styles. How you can find, because you see this is 4 types of the learners which is being in the company. The activist, which is just trying be as a leader in the role play exercises. But pragmatic, they use all the given the trainings at the practice. But theories, they maybe just collect the information and do analyze and can make a theory by that one. They are less active in the participation of the training and development programs. And reflectors, this is the people just who is listening and observing all those training programs, and they want, for example, what they can't want is from their side, they use those all trainings development in the practice. You just listen and observing. For example, you have today trained as a reflector, you just listen and observing, and tomorrow you can forget about what you have listened and observing. You want to apply that, for example, strategies which you've been learned in practice, in your functional division. So this is all about. So let's see. So let's see the next slide. So here is Mekinson identified the 4 learning types. The before was learning styles, which is employees preferred by. Here is we identify the 4 learning types. It's also related to the characteristics of any employee. So warriors are those who are strong at planning what they want to learn and how, but are less strong at learning from the experiences they had not anticipated. They have a clear focus on what they want to learn and pursue this persistently. Adventurers respond to and learn from the opportunities that come along unexpectedly and learn from the opportunities that come along unexpectedly, and they are curious and flexible. However, they tend not to plan and create the opportunity for themselves. And sages are strong on both characteristics as the warriors and adventurers, and sleepers display little of as a characteristics at the present. This is the learning types, which is identified by the Megginson. This is just as a theory, maybe you can find another types of the learning. So let's see the next slide one. So now we are moving to learning development, to the methods of learning and development. So let's see, this is very important. What kind of methods management use for the learning and development? So I think I have some questions. Let's see. Here is I have a question that about how the employees developing themselves. Or no, here is now in the methods of learning development we can see two types of the developing employees. The employees can develop themselves from their side. This is from the off-job methods, and employees also developed by, which is provided from the management side, from the organization side, the training development programs. So let's see, we have here is the methods of learning and development. First is off-job methods, education training courses. Education courses are taken during a career and frequently done on a part-time basis, leading to a diploma or master's degree with a management business label and or qualification for a professional body. So off-job methods, education training courses, could be carried out by employees themselves or can be carried out by the organization itself. So examples, this is off-job methods, most of them are long-term, and examples given as an MBA study. As you can see, the consultancy courses, also short courses based on the developing time management, interviewing or disciplinary skills. So here is, I have questions. For example, taking risk, with talking about the learning styles. Mr. Ridas talks about what if a pragmatist also takes risk. As I told you, this is 4 styles, but any person, any employee can be not only related to one style only. It can use or be in the combination of the styles, 2 or more or 3 or 4 of them. So you have to understand these things. So, and you won't be debate about this. Here I have a question, what is the off-job method? Off-job means not at the working, not at the organization, not at the working time. The courses and training programs used in the outside of the organization and in different times with the working times, which is different with the working times and job times, like MBA style, like some consultancy courses, or like some qualification courses. So let's see the next slide. So we have of the job techniques. So before we seen the methods, now what kind of techniques used in that methods? The lecture, there could be a lecture, the video presentation, the vestibular training, the role playing, the case study, simulation, the self-studying, programmed learning, and laboratory training. This is just examples for you. What kind of techniques is being used in the off-job trainings. So let's see The next slide. So here is learning on the job. So before we looked at the methods of job methods, now we look at the learning on the job. So in the organization means the manager coaching and other internal and external coaching. This is about the coaching. The manager as a coach helps trainees to develop by giving them the opportunity to perform as an increasing range of tasks and by helping them to learn from their experiences. This is here is we have the two sides of coaching, from the which coacher is the manager and the followers as the employee. And the manager uses its own experience to give an opportunity to the employee. And manager works to improve the trainee's performance by asking searching the questions, actively listening, discussing, exploration, encouragement, understanding, counseling, and provide the information and honest feedback. Here we can see the very close link between the managers and the employees. And here is a very important side of the honest feedback. The managers must give to the employees the honest feedback, what they think about their job, what they think about their performance, and so on. So let's see. So I have some questions. Just a moment. So here is I have got what vestibular training. This is where did you find about this one? Let's see. Here is from the off-job technique. Vestibular training means when the trainings happens in a particular place, like in some rooms, and there is groups of employees, and this is like a group trainings. Let's see the next slide, the learning and the chapter mentoring. I have one question about the simulation. This is also, I think, from the techniques. Where did you find this one? Just a moment. Let's see. So this is I think you find from the this is from the off-job technique simulation. Simulation means it's like role plays, like when you play any role and you simulate it. It's not like a real. The trainings as a simulation comes in the programs. This is like, for example, we have some groups of employees in the training programs, and the trainers, who is like a teacher or like a leader in that group, can choose any person, an employee, and say you will be like as a customer, and choose another person who will be as from the operational level, and they play some roles and simulate that they are as a customer and what they want, what they prefer, and so on. This is about the simulation techniques. You just play as some roles as a game. This is as a games game technique actually. So let's see. We have a mentoring. Kram identifies two broad functions of mentoring. The first of which is the career function, including those aspects of the relationship that primarily enhance the career advancement, such as exposure and visibility and sponsorship. And the second is the physiological functions, which include those aspects of the relationship that primarily enhance the sense of competence, the clarity of identity, and the effectiveness in the managerial role. Mentoring is also as a method of the training programs. So let's see the next one. So also we have the peer relationships method, the peer relationship. So here is the supportive the peer relationships that work are potentially more widely available to the individual and offer a number of benefits for the development of both parties. So development functions is always seen as information sharing, giving job-related feedback, personal feedback, friendship, and confirmation. Peer relationships means between two employees, maybe in the same operational level. And from this side is also you can get some advantages. You can ask your friend as your colleague or employee. Maybe it's seen for you as a friend. You can ask them feedback, the honest feedback about his or her job. You also can share the information and experience which you have. So what we can see also, you maybe have a friendship with your colleague and employee. So this is all about the peer relationships. And peer relationships most often develop an informal basis and provide the mutual support. So let's see the next. What we have, the self-development. This is also as a method, self-development. Do you remember we have seen the first is off-job trainings, which is been out of the organization. We've seen the learning on the job, which is different courses and trainings. And now we see the self-development, which is related to the employees. And let's see, the self-development involves the individuals in analyzing their strengths. So you analyze, you have to, for example, yourself analyze your strengths, your weaknesses. You can do like SWOT analysis by yourself. You can see what kind of opportunities do you have and what kind of tricks do you have. And the way in which they learn, primarily by means of the questions and feedback from others. This is like, if you would like to self-develop, yes, develop yourself on behind the organization. I just take some paper and write down that your main strengths, what you have, your main weaknesses, and you can collect your feedback. Like as you remember, in the last class we talked about the 360 feedback, which is the feedback collected from the different departments, from different sides, from the external and internal. So you can collect the feedbacks from your colleagues, from your customers, and write down your opportunities and what you have done or what you can improve in your own situation, what could be better, what could be worse, and so on. And many of the activities included in self-development are based on the observation and collecting further feedback about the way they operate, and experimenting with a different approach, in particular reviewing that has happened and what they have learned. This is very important. So you just analyze yourself, or your strengths, your weaknesses, what you have learned from that company, what kind of experience did you get. And from this side you can, for example, give yourself the right conclusion about your performance. And from this side you can also forecast your future career development. So okay, I have questions. Sorry, I have questions about Mentoring. Differentiation between mentoring and mentoring. Monitoring. You means monitoring. This is like monitoring. This is like controlling something, observing. And mentoring is about teaching, coaching, about the training programs. This is two different things. So let's see the next slide. And also self-development groups. This is also like before self-development could be related to one employee. From your side, you can develop yourself on, or it could be groups with you can develop yourself with your colleagues. And in self-development groups, a group of the individuals is involved in a series of meetings. So you have some meetings where they jointly discuss their personal development, their organizational issues, or the individual work problem. This is very interesting. From this side, the management can support you to go through the self-development groups, or you, for instance, you work in, for example, in sales department, you can ask your colleagues to make a group, to make a meetings where you can discuss about the business work or problems, about your own personal development, and so on. So let's see the next slide. So we also have the method of the learning logs. The log may be focused around one particular activity and is usually designed to encourage the writer to explain what happened, how he or she has reflected on this, what conclusions he or she has made, and what future learning action he or she wishes to make. Logs means like you can write yourself like a journal, like this one. Like a diary. You can write everyday diary about your work, about issues that happened in the work, about the questions that happened at the work, and you have to open them and ask and give an answer for them. And here is alternative logs can be used in the form of daily or weekly diary, as I told you. This is learning logs. Also related to the self-development method. So you write your own logs. I think anyone, most of you have like not like a special diary. Maybe you have just a paper, and you can write down what kind of issues do you have in the job. What kind of gaps, what kind of questions, or what you have to do, and so on. This is also I use this kind of development method. Logs means like learning logs, like learning diaries, like a learning, the self-learning diaries actually. So let's see next one. So we have also e-learning and blended learning. So e-learning, the idea identifies the main advantage of e-learning as flexible access across time and place, and flexible use of content, consistent delivery, sustainable, and easy to update, value for money, and of the moment, being particularly useful for the launch for the new product. So e-learning also can be provided from the side of organization, for example, as English learning online, also the English courses like online, or MBA, as you know, this MBA online course is related from your site on, but if company can provide you like MBA online studies also related to e-learning. Or you can find any other courses for e-learning also, which is related to particular to your job. So from this side, the organizations also use different programs for e-learning. They have, for example, contract with some training programs, which is provide the e-learning programs to the employees, and they support their employees to develop and to get new skills and knowledge. Yes, it goes for electronic learning. E-learning means like online learning, for example. So let's see the next slide. So here is the before we talk about learning development, about the learning programs types. Now we talk about the career development itself. So here is the primary purpose of career development is to meet the current and future needs of the organization and the individual at work, and this increasingly means developing employability. So the main purpose is to meet the current and future needs of any organizations of your own organizations. So here is we have the general benefits career development provides for the what kind of benefits the career development provides for the organization. Let's see. It makes the organization attractive to potential recruits. It enhances the image of the organization by demonstrating a recognition of the employee needs. It's likely to encourage the employee commitment and to reduce the staff turnover. Yes, that's right. This is directly related to the reduces the staff turnover, and it's likely to encourage the motivation and job performance as employees can see more positive movement and progress in their work. And perhaps most importantly, it exploits the full potential of the workforce, which means the productivity, which is increase the organization's productivity. Okay, let's see the next slide. So here is we have the stages of the career development. The main stages which we have in the career development. This is just as theory, but you can find your own stage from these stages. Let's see, the first stage is the occupational choice and preparation for work. And this first stage involves developing an occupational self-image and will, of course, reappear for those who wish to change career late in life. And the key aim is the matching process between the strengths and weaknesses, values and desired lifestyle on the individual and the requirements and benefits of a range of occupations. The stage 2 is about the organizational entry. This stage involves the individual in both finding a job which corresponds with his or her occupational self-image and starting to do that job. And the stage is 3, the third stage in early career establishment and achievement. The establishment stage involves the fitting into the organization and studying how things are done around here. And thorough induction programs are important here, but more especially it's important to provide the new recruit with the real job and early change rather than a roving commission from department to department with no real purpose, as is often found on the training schemes. And from here, the feedback and support from the immediate manager are also key. Means also important when you can get the feedback from your top manager. And also, it's at this stage that access to the opportunities for career development becomes a key. So development with the job and the opportunity for promotion and broadening moves are all aided if the organization has a structured approach to career development and involving the career ladders, pathways, and but not necessarily the hierarchical progression. So here is that means the feedback remains important as doing opportunities and support for further career exploration and planning. So let's see the next slide. We have another stages. The stage 4, the mid-career. Maybe it's when you work at the company in more than 2-3 years. This mid-career may involve the further growth and advancement or the maintenance of steady state. If you will experience decline at this stage, or maybe you work more than 5 years, is when you have maybe when you have a stable work and you can feel a little decline at your career development. And the organizational support in this case needs to involve the use of lateral career paths, job response, development as mentors or further training to keep the up to date and the use of flexible reverse system. And here is me says that the organization management have to provide in this stage have to provide the employees and maybe some new level of the reverse system, new trainings and programs. So, and we have a stage 5, which is late career. The organization's task in the late career stage is to encourage the people to continue performing well, and this is particularly important as some sectors are experiencing the skill shortage that are moved by some companies to allow the individuals to start work after the state retirement age. This is a stage when you are more closely to the retirement age. And despite the stereotype that here is says a little bit about the statistics. Let's see. Despite the stereotype that abound in finding older workers as slower and less able to learn, the evidence suggests that the over 50s can be valuable employees and perform well if managed appropriately. That means that everybody can be, any employee can be valuable despite of his or her age. It's mostly depend on the performance management from the side of managing that people in the right side, in the right methods. And Greenhouse and Kram point out that the availability of flexible work patterns, the clear performance standards, the continued training, and the avoidance of discrimination are helpful at this stage and combined with the preparation for retirement. So actually, about the discrimination, about the age, sex, and beliefs, we talk about that one at the next session. So this is the main career stages. We have 5 career stages. You can find your own in which kind of stage you are in right now. So let's see the next slide. Here is we have so the types of career improvement promotion strategies identified by Golden Pendley. So here is the main types of the career promotion strategies or improvement strategies. The first is the creating opportunities. This involves building the appropriate skills and experience that are needed for career in the organizations, developing those skills that are seen as critical to the individual supervisor and the partner are most useful. As is exercising the leadership in an area where none exists at present, this is creating opportunities. Extend the work involvement. Let's see that. This the both at the workplace and at home, and may also involve a preoccupation with the work issues at all times. And next one is the self-nomination, the self-presentation strategy. This is individuals who pursue this strategy will communicate the desire for the increased responsibility to their managers, and they will also make known their success and build an image of themselves as someone who achieved the things. And also we have a seeking career guidance, which involves seeking out a more experienced person, either within the organization or without them, and looking for guidance or sponsorship. The use of mentor relationship would come into this category. The mentor relationship comes in here. So this is the improvement, the career improvement promise strategies. And we have also networking. Let's see, the networking involves developing contacts both inside and outside the organization and to gain the information and support. This is actually very important when you use networking as a strategy in development, uh, because you can get a good contacts from the outside and from the internal and external uh, people, which is from the external, which is could be the customers. From the internal, it's also your colleagues. And here is the interpersonal attraction. This strategy builds the relationship with one's immediate manager on the basis that he or she will have an impact on the career progression. One form of this is opinion conformity, that is sharing the key opinions of the individual's manager, perhaps with a minor deviation. When you share your opinion, your own opinion with your top manager, another is expert as another enhancement which may involve the sharing personal information with one's manager and becoming interested in similar pursuits. So this is the main studies that we looked at. So let's see. Next slide. The Waterman, in an article on the career resilient workers, suggests that the interests need to be, here is, make themselves knowledgeable about the relevant market trends. This now we talk about you, that you should make yourself knowledgeable about your relevant market trends in your country, in your markets. Understand the skills and knowledge you need in the area and anticipate future needs. You have to understand your own skills and knowledge. And be aware of your own strengths and weaknesses. As I told you, you have to get a paper and write down your strengths and weaknesses. You have to know your strengths and weaknesses at the job. And have a plan for increasing your performance and employability. Always try to have a plan, like for career development, for learning development, and respond quickly to changing business needs. This is very important. You have to quickly respond to change business needs, for example, which is happen in your country or outside. And move on from the current employer when a win-win relationship is no longer possible. That means when you work to own time in your company, if you have no any win-win relationship, you have no any additional rewards or the opportunities for development and training, for development and for career development, which is for the new promotions. So you have to see other possible ways. Look outside. Maybe you can find a different job in different market, or try and during this time try to develop yourself, as we talk about the self-development. So this is very important. So before moving to another company, to another organization, try to develop yourself as much as possible. Your knowledge, your skills, your abilities to do, be multi-skilled. So then you will be the valuable employee. So here this is all about. So let's see the next slide. What kind of causes of the poor investment in training and development? What kind of reasons the poor investment we have in the organizations? The only well-off organization can afford the training, that you know. Education, training, and development is the responsibility of the human resource department, and any training is relevant. This is causes of the poor investment in the development programs. Here I have a questions from Mr. Alamzeb, asking what kind of skills are extremely important in the making career choices. What kind of skills? This is starts from the side from your education background first. What kind of knowledge do you have actually? In what kind of sector, in what kind of business or market you are the best, you know, you are skilled and knowledgeable. You have to find, first you have to write down your own strengths and your own weaknesses, and then you can find your own choice. And also you should remember, what do you like to do? This is very important, that your career should be linked with your like emotional needs, wants, what you like to do. Maybe you like to work with the customers, you like let's say you like to have a conversation, you like to make a deals, work with the customers, go outside, be in the trail. So you have to find your own preferences first, and then what you can you have what kind your skills and knowledge. Then you have to develop them. Try to develop yourself. Use some maybe courses, use e-learning, and use some trainings. If company can't support you in this kind of opportunities, try to do yourself. So let's see the next slide. What steps in the training development? So we have first is the training needs assessment, the training development objectives, establish the training development department, the policy can be, and program content, actual program. What we have an evaluation of the training and the development program, which is also includes here is could be monitoring and getting feedback from the training programs. So here is we have also we have barriers, resistance to the training development. So let's see what can be the self-satisfaction, the competency. Self-satisfaction means when, for example, organization want to provide you some the training and development, but you say, I'm satisfied with my work, with my performance, and I don't want any training and development because it takes you additional time to stay at the job. So here is also the failure to recognize the need for training. This is from the side of organization. They can't, maybe sometimes they can't, it's difficult to recognize what kind of the trains the organization must provide to the or can provide to the employees. From this side, we have to get feedback from the employees, what kind of trainings and development programs they want. And also we have barriers as a trainers incompetence. Incompetent, that means disqualification, unqualification of the trainers. The trainers could be outside of from the inside. Outside is, as you know, there's some consultants and the special training programs. And then from the inside, it comes from the HR department or from the line management. And we have a past experience. Maybe you have a bad past experience with the training development programs. You just got a course and you didn't have good results for the productivity and for the good, effective performance of the employee. And also the fear of failure. This means it's always like when the organization provides you the training development programs. From this side, after the finish of this program, they want to see the results, your job performance. It did rise or it's increased or decreased your say the rank, the performance yourself, the productivity. And some of the organizations they won't provide the training development because they see the training development as the main cost of the organization, just as a cost which is not given any opportunity for the employee. Yes, this is fear of failure. That I have a question. Yes, that means because the main important things which we going to get from the training development is what kind of results brings to the company, to the employees, which we've seen before as the purpose is to increase the productivity, to increase the workforce, to increase the performance. So, and some organization can see the fear or the failure that when they would provide that training program, maybe they won't get any good results from that one. Just on the cost, just a waste of time and get the cost. This is what talks about the fear of failure. I hope I answered for that questions. So let's see the next slide. So the investment in HRD, the failure by organization to invest in HRD is set to contribute the decline, not only of the organization, but also of the economy as a whole. So let's see what is talked about. This here is that means that if the organizations want to invest in HRD, they can get a decline in the company, overall decline of the company. That means they are not providing the new opportunities for the employee to enhance their ability, knowledge, and skills. And from this side, if they want going to suffer their own employees, and employees seen as your main sources, and from this side, of course, any company can get the decline in the productivity, in the which is related to the productivity, to the profit of the organization, to the sales of the organization. This is what is talked about here. And also, it can impact the economy whole, which means if the country, for example, in the British, they have a special government program where say that any organization must provide the training and development programs during the year, and gives them like a minimum how many days they have to provide the training development programs in the year, and for the all employees, includes all employees, not only the top management, the operation level also. And if, for example, some country won't provide and don't provide actually this kind of don't have a like policy about the training development, and maybe organizations won't provide the development programs and they want to save time and money, and it will of course impact the whole economy of that country. Means their productivity, means they are knowledgeable, means the performance. This is to talk about the investment in HRD, how is important actually. So here is in conclusion. Let's see. Careers are the careers are owned by the individuals, and the primary responsibility for the managing them falls to the individual. And organizations have a role in supporting and encouraging this. So organizations always have to encourage and support the employees in the career development. And individuals need to manage their own careers and aim to become the career resilient. So that the resilient means flexible, so that they have developed the skills and knowledge to overcome the career setbacks. Continuous professional development is an important part of this. So think about that. The continuous professional development is very important for yourself. And organization can support and encourage the individual career management by providing flexible and realistic career grids, honest feedback, the opportunities for individual career exploration and planning. So here, from organization side, it has to provide the support to the employees, like training and development programs. They have to plan it and give a feedback to the employees, which is honestly is very important. They give the opportunities for the promotions, for the career moves. So today we talk about career development, learning development. This topic was about development. So do you have any questions about this topic? Today's topic. Anybody has a question about today's topic? Because if you don't have any questions, I think this is topic is not so difficult, simple one. So we can move to the next topic, which is motivation. We'll talk about the motivation. So do you agree? On the next class, I give you the lecture about the reward systems, about the reward programs, about the benefits. We talk about the benefits, incentives, about the salaries, and also I give you the case study, which would be related to the final project. So be advanced that the final project would be related to the rewards topic, about the rewards program, about the benefits, about the motivation programs, about this one. So the next class will be very important. Try to be on the next class. So now we are going to move on the motivation topic. So anybody can see the motivation slides, the slides about the motivation lecture. So let's start. So introduction. The motivation very short one, so let's try to finish in 20-30 minutes. So motivating workers or employees involves inspiring them to contribute to the goals of the organizations. It's up to the individual manager to select the specific approach to motivating their workforce and decide how best to apply it. And what motivates people? There is no simple answer for this. So let's see what motivates people actually. Here we have the features of high and low moral as follows. We talk about the motivation. The high moral, the willingness to work hard, the high moral people, high moral workforce, high moral employees. They have a willingness to work hard, the self-motivation, the work achieving the objectives of the organizations, the confidence in management, the needs of the work group and consultants is very important. And low moral employees, they have a resistance to work, need for close, which is not have a very small willingness to work, need for close supervision, lack of interest in the objectives of their organizations, lack of the confidence in the manager, and they have depressions. This is high moral and low moral employees. So let's see in the next slide. The results of these features as follows. So what kind of results we are getting from the high moral employees and from the low moral employees? So high moral employees, the good performance at work tasks, the high productivity, the low absenteeism, the good timekeeping, the low labor turnover, the few accidents, and good cooperation with the organization, which means the good relationship with the organizations. So low moral employees, what kind of results brings to the company? The poor performance at work tasks, the low productivity, the high absenteeism, the bad timekeeping, the high labor turnover, the more accidents, and bad relation with the organizations. Cupertino means relationships, relationship. This is I think this is using as a slang in this context. Yes, relationship with the organizations. So next, let's see the next one. So here is we have the main key indicators of the moral is the productivity, the labor turnover rate, and absenteeism. This is the most important things that is that the organization cares about: the productivity, about the labor turnover rate, and about the absenteeism. So here is the motivating employees has become very challenging because why? The organization changed the jobs that people perform, and organization reduced the layers of the hierarchy, and employee needs are changing. This is the main changing that employees are facing too. Let's see the next slide. So historic development. The scientific management believes that the people at work must be directed and controlled. And emphasize for this is a clear form organization structure have to be in the organization, the clear change of command and span of control, and information passing from top to down. So now we look the motivation approach. This is first the historic development approach. The next one is let's see about the definition of the motivation. So what says Armstrong? Say that motivation takes place when people expect that a course action is likely to lead the attainment of the goal and value to reward, or which satisfies their particular needs. So motivation means when this is very important, means from the organization side that motivate people to perform well, to get high productivity. And why employees motivated by this program? Because of the motivation program brings the reward to the employees. So let's see the next slide. Here is also says the motivation refers to the forces within a person that affect his or her direction, intensity, and the persistence of the voluntary behavior. And according to McShane and von Lino, motivated employees are willing to accept a particular level of effort for a certain amount of time and toward a particular goal. Let's see the next one. And Handy suggests that if we could understand and then predict the ways in which individuals were motivated, we could influence them by changing the components of what motivation process actually. So you have to think, that is manipulation or the management actually. When we talk about the motivation, when we can change the motivation process itself. And here is we have also a human relations approach. Before we talk about the historic approach, And a human relations approach believes that if managers take an interest in their people, work output will increase. That means if top management, line management cares about the employees, of course they will get an increase in the productivity. And emphasize here is the freedom for the staff to do work in their own way. That is suggested that given to the organization, we better give the freedom for the employees to do work in their own way. Maybe that will increase and bring the good results in the work. The reward for effort with the praise as well as money, and offer encouragement rather than discipline. You have to encourage the people always and motivate them. So next, let's see the next one. So we have also mentioned by objectives approach. Believes that the people need clear objectives and standards to work to and have some say in what these are. So the employer organization must give to the employees clear objectives, what they have to do, what the business objectives are, and what kind of standards we are working in. And emphasize the set objectives and targets that define the main activities, set standards, review the progress, and review the training and development needs. This is from side of the organizations. Today now we have I have some chat from the Mr. Ahmad Jawad say that financial issues and money is the most important motivator. Yes, it's most important, but we have also another different motivators and which different rewards which organizations provide, and we'll talk about that in the next session. What kind of other motivators could be, despite of the money and financial. So, and we have a learning organization approach that believes that the planning and implementation of programs designed to improve the effectiveness with which an organization functions and responds to the change. So, always here is the planning and implementation of the motivation program must be designed, and it will improve the effectiveness of their organizations. And emphasize here is increase the knowledge and skills of the individual, power based on cooperation, reason, and humanistic democratic ideals. We have the company will have a democratic culture in the organizations. Here is I have a questions about is the HRM job to motivation for staff. The motivation programs actually they provided by the management itself, but the HRM department prepared that kind of programs. They will outsource or insert the trainers for that programs, and line manager should give the recommendation to the HR that what kind of motivation programs should they provide to the employees. Here is not only the HR department and line manager, they both involved in that kind of programs. Let's see the next slide. So now we talk about the individualism and collectivism. Oh, sorry, we have an end of the class, should be soon, I'm sorry. Now it's 8, and 8 we start at 6:30, and at, oh yes, right, so Oh, okay. We have a last slide. Let's see and then we can finish the class. And individualism and collectivism. So it's argued that the people do not work in the isolation of each other, and therefore, for an organization to meet objectives, it must foster the both individual and group motivation, and must create a system of cooperation to achieve the organization aims. They must engender the positive competition within the organization respective groups, and adaptive management start in terms of management of people in groups, and enable freedom of expression, creativity. So think about that. So today we talk about the development and about the motivation. On the next class we will talk about the reverse programs, about the total reverse system, about what kind of benefits company and organization can provide. And we will be having maybe some debate. Well, what kind of benefits is better for the employee? What employee prefer? What kind of benefit they prefer? What kind of reverse they prefer? And on the next session, I'm going to give you the case study for the final project, and it will be related to the topic of reverse. Think about it. So, and we have 3 minutes for the end of the session, or 2 minutes, yeah. So, do you have any question about the motivation topic? No. Okay, and after this class, maybe I'm going to give you some case study. Just review about the development and programs and motivation programs. So you just can read it. And later I will send you all those 2 PowerPoint slides, which is related to development and motivation topics. So if nobody have a question for development and motivation topics, so we can end the session. So thank you very much for joining the class, for waiting for me, because I had a problem with the internet. I'm sorry for that. Hope next time will be I will not have any problem and will be fine everything. So good night to everybody. Take care of yourself. So see you on the next Saturday. At the same time, at the same day, the class will be on the next week. So thank you very much. Goodbye.